everybody. Today is Thursday, September 10th, 2020, and I am Ashley Fields with Yardress, and we are going to be painting our football turkey today. So I'm so glad everybody's here. Give me just a second while I pull up our comments. But let's see, I have had a busy week this week. I have been painting all sorts of stuff. I've been painting whimsical pumpkins to sell this weekend, like, you know, stuff to sell at the store. And then, let's see, here we go. Okay. It always takes me a second to find the video and pull it up so I can see the comments. But yes, so it is my busy season. So if you guys can't tell by my arms and my fingers, I have been painting like a mad woman. So how are you guys doing? Hey, Debbie, I'm so glad you're here. Good evening to you. It's Thursday, so at least we are super close to the weekend. We're not quite there, but we're close enough that we can smell it. And I've been working on some whimsical pumpkins for the store to sell. So like, you know, buffalo plaid, striped, polka dot, all that sort of thing. So I've been really busy on my end. I don't know about you guys. Hey, Carla, how are you doing, honey? Hello to you. So yeah, I've been, you know, doing my own thing over here and been busy as usual. It is season for us, so it's yard art season, which means, you know, that we're just, of course, more busy than normal. And so I'm really starting to feel the heat from the season being here, and I'm not ready. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way that I do, but I am just not ready. I'm behind. I'm so behind. Hey, Mom, I'm so glad you're here. I have been working my little booty off today. The rain, it's like it comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. So I've been having to fight with that today. But other than that, I'm doing good. I got a new car this week, so we are super excited. My daughter Carly has been wanting to sit in the car and just hang out in the car, even parked at the house. So, you know, we've all enjoyed having a new vehicle so far. But yeah, other than that, just kind of, I've been gearing up for our season, our busy season, and cutting and painting and all of that. So I hope everybody out there is doing good. Let's see, sorry, I had to get some water. But yeah, I've been doing good. I am just getting ready for the next thing. How's everybody else doing? Hey, Katie. Hey, Terry. Dee. I hope all y'all are doing well. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I feel like that's always normal, though. It's like no matter what I do, I'm always somebody who I do better under pressure. So I wait till the last minute till I'm under pressure, and then I make it happen at that point. Because like prior to that, I just don't have the energy. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm definitely a procrastinator in the worst way. And I've always been, and I really keep thinking, one of these days it's gonna change, right? Because I'm in my 30s, maybe I'm gonna stop being a procrastinator. Y'all, I'm still a procrastinator. It still sticks with me. So, hey Terry, I'm so glad you're here, babe. Hope you're doing good. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. So we are gonna start with our football turkey tonight. I have 2 coats of reindeer brown on him, and then I came in and I started my base coating, right? So I have Christmas green base coat. I have brilliant blue. I have light orange, white. I have a little bit of red. In the middle right here on my football, this is actually nutmeg. I see I dripped some water, sorry about that. But my football is nutmeg. And then I have light orange and red, number 20. And then the helmet is also brilliant blue. So the piece that we're doing tonight has kind of it has a lot of colors on it. So we're gonna hop right into it and get started. So let's see. Terry says, the pressure is coming, just wait. Oh, Lordy B. Y'all, I'm already feeling the pressure. I don't know that I could take anymore. And my mom says, you ain't gonna change. I know, it's been too long. I'm not gonna change. I think I'll always be a procrastinator at heart. Though, you know, there's a lot of times I wish maybe I could change, maybe I could be better. In fact, every year I always say, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be more organized. I'm gonna, you know, stick to a calendar. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And yet it never seems to happen. And I definitely know that I'm not the only one out there that's like that. So if you're like that, you're a procrastinator and you literally wait to the last minute to do anything, let me know, because I would like to know that I'm not the only person out there. But that is so me, unfortunately. It is one of my flaws. However, I also kind of can see it as a positive because I can make stuff happen when I have to make it happen. So, all right, y'all. So all I did was I had the light yellow at the bottom, and I went ahead and got a little bit of shading yellow on there while I was chit-chatting. I am using the number 16 shader. This is a royal gold shader, or really considered a flat wash brush, but this is a number 16. So it's gonna be the brush that you guys are gonna see me use most of today. I do have a number 12 that I've also broken in that I'll probably pull out here in a little bit, but I've gotten pretty comfortable with the number 16, and so I don't always load the entire brush. Sometimes I'm only loading the corner, and I'm really using it to maybe the capacity of a number 10 or number 12, but it's easier for me to use one brush. So, hey Victoria, how are you doing? Missy, I'm so glad you guys are here. Missy says, I'm sitting here doing that right now. Missy, I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, this is my daily life here. So, let's see, what did I do today? I worked on some whimsical pumpkins. So like the plaid, polka dot, striped pumpkins. I had put some out last week and they were a huge hit, and I sold out within 24 hours. And so I've been working on making some more of the whimsical pumpkins. And so the store, meaning the people that have worked at the store, they've called me several times. When are you going to have your whimsical pumpkins? What's the price on the whimsical pumpkins? That sort of thing. And so I know that there is, for whatever reason, a demand at this moment for that pattern. So that's kind of been my focus today. So it's been like I call it a blow and go day, meaning I just go, blow through everything and go. And so, in fact, Zach called me, my husband, he called me at lunchtime. He said, oh, I'm on my way home for lunch. And I was like, lunch? It's breakfast? What are you talking about lunch? And I looked at my phone, it was 11:45. I was like, where did 11:45 come from? Because I felt like it was 9 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, we've been busy. And that's a good thing. You know, when you work for yourself and you produce items for yourself, it's never a bad thing to be busy. But nonetheless, we've been busy. So we've been having to kind of hang in there and keep up with everything that is needed of us at the moment. Hey, Sandy, I'm so glad you're here. Let's see, Missy says, oh, Mary, we're still battling with it, but we are not going to give up. Okay, so you're battling with the CNC. Missy, I will tell you, I know how to run a CNC at this point. We've had our CNC for, I guess, a little over 3 years. And I learned how to run it, I guess, honestly, just this year. And even when I know what I'm doing, that machine still messes up, and then I figure out I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't want you to feel discouraged. I know you're a new CNC user, but those of us that have been, I'm not even going to say we're veterans because I'm totally not a veteran yet, but I have experience with the CNC, and I still get overwhelmed and confused and, you know, very much feel lost a lot of the times when I'm doing stuff in my CNC software. So hang in there, hun. I feel you. I get it. It's not the easiest thing to do. In fact, Zach and I were talking about, we were talking just last night, I want to say, about how we cannot wait for him to be able to come work for the business full time. And, you know, we're a bit of ways from that. We need some time under our belt and some money in the bank account to kind of sit there before he can quit his normal job. You know, but we were chit-chatting about that, and I said, yeah, it'll be so nice whenever you can build the files for me and do this and do that. And he was like, no, I'm not going to build the files. He said, I'm not going to build the files for you because you'll get mad about it and you'll complain that I didn't do it the right way, so you're going to have to still build your files. And I'm going, wait, what? I thought if you were going to work from home, you're going to take some stuff off my plate. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not building your files. I was like, okay. Because I know I've told you guys before, Zach used to build my files years ago, and then I'm just really particular. I want stuff done the right way. I don't want waste of material, that sort of thing. And so we learned, I guess, a couple of years ago that it's easier for me to build the files. That way, if I build them incorrectly, or I put in the wrong size, or I don't have things right, I can only blame myself, and I can't blame anybody else. And apparently, Zach does not want any of that blame on his plate. So he's like, no, you're going to go ahead and keep that job, because I don't want that job. Because it is a lot. It's so much. But hang in there, honey. You'll get the hang of it. It just takes a little time. And I know you have my phone number, so you call me anytime you need it. Yeah, Mary said, could it be that you have control issues? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, I think we all, especially when you're creators, you know, you want things done a certain way. You want them done your way. And when it doesn't happen like that, you know, it can be a source of conflict, shall we say. So Zach wants to steer clear of the conflict, which I get. And so he's like, yeah, no, I'll let you do that. So, yeah, exactly. Mary says, that's what I thought. All right, y'all, I'm so sorry. I know I'm chit-chatting a lot. Okay, so I've been using the same number 16 flat wash brush, which we call a shader. This is a royal gold brush. I just did dark green over top of my Christmas green, and now I'm gonna grab some navy blue to do over top of my brilliant blue. So I kind of, it's easy for me to get distracted with talking. I have that kind of squirrel mentality, you know, where it's super, super, super simple for me to lose my train of thought. So, because I have that squirrel mentality, I kind of need to be kept in check sometimes. So I'm kind of just coming around and following these lines. And I know I'm using number 16, y'all, but I kind of have it turned on its side to where it's giving me almost a number 10 or number 12 width. All right. So far I have Christmas green, and I shaded with dark green. I have reindeer brown, and I shaded with shading brown. I have brilliant blue, and I shaded with navy blue. And then I had light yellow that I shaded with shading yellow. So, all right, let's see. I'm trying to think. The only other things I need to shade, oh, y'all, I totally forgot my football. I forgot to shade my football when I had my shading brown, and then I need to shade my nose. So let me clean my brush out right quick, and I'm gonna switch back to shading brown and go ahead and shade my football. So the football is actually done in nutmeg, but between nutmeg, reindeer brown, camel, any of those kind of brown hues, brown tones, I actually shade all of them with shading brown. So I want you guys to look, and you can that shading brown goes really, really well between the reindeer brown and the nutmeg. It just happens to be, you know, your brown hues can really, the shading brown really complements the brown hues. I guess I should say it kind of that way and not backwards. So I added a little bit of shading brown onto my football, cleaning out my shader. And now I'm gonna grab a little bit of the shading orange and go ahead and shade the turkey's beak. So I'm kind of just loading up my corner. Like I said, I'm using a number 16, so it's honestly a little bit on the big side. But I'm only using the corner of it. I'm not using the full width of the number 16. So if you have that control over the shader, a number 16 is fine. If you don't have that control over a shader, you might want to use number 10 or number 12, because those widths will give you about the same width of what I achieved with my number 16, but only using the corner of it. Okay. Trying to double check myself because I'm really good at leaving stuff out. Okay, as far as shading goes, I'm done. So let me recap. I did a base coat of 2 coats of reindeer brown, and then I went ahead and I came in with Christmas green, black, brilliant blue, light orange, red, nutmeg, light yellow. This is brilliant blue right here. And then I went ahead and shaded all those colors. Now, I do have a dry version already ready for us. This piece is a little bit more detailed and a little bit more intricate than some of the other pieces that we've done lately. But a lot of this piece is actually going to be done in white. So it's kind of like when we go to do our highlights. We'll do actually a lot of highlights because all the numbers are going to be done in white. So let's go ahead and we are going to get our outlining done. And that way, when we get to the highlighting portion of this, we can fill in all of the little football, I guess, plays that have the numbers and the arrows and all that. And it'll look really good. So anytime I'm outlining a brown tone, it doesn't matter what brown it is, whether it's light brown, dark brown, does not matter. I'm going to use shading red. So I have my shading red. It already has a little bit of water added to it. And also I added more red to this shading red, so it's not as dark. It almost looks closer to a barn red than it does the darker shading red. So I kind of just lined it up a little bit with a little bit of red. And I'm using that Royal Gold script liner number 4. And I am just going to begin outlining these lines based on where my CNC already etched everything for me. So again, using shading red and just kind of following along. The reason that we are going to use shading red when it comes to our brown tones is because it's not as stark and dark as black, and it kind of stays in that same color family, and this color is really going to complement the browns as opposed to black. I think black can kind of break up the colors. You know, this color kind of, it complements it more, I guess. That's how I can try to explain it. I don't always feel like I'm the best at explaining things, but that's kind of how I explain it in my own mind. So at this point, you might see me going back and forth over the same lines, and that is simply because the CNC etched it a little bit too deep for me. And so I have to go back over the lines to just make sure that the paint is down inside of those grooves. So Sandy says, how do you decide which color to base coat with? Sandy, that is a great question. So we have, what do we have? 37 colors? I believe we have 37 colors. And so between all of those colors, Sandy, You know, obviously we have our blue family, our brown family, our yellow family, our orange family. We have all that sort of thing. And so whenever I'm going to base coat something, I kind of look between the colors that we already have in our color palettes, and I choose the lightest shade. Typically, I'm gonna choose the lightest shade within a color. I feel like I've got paint on my face, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna pick that lightest shade. And then from there, I'll pick a medium shade to shade it, and then I'll pick a dark shade to outline it. So it's really, it takes a long time to come up with a really good color palette. I can't even lie to y'all and tell y'all that I came up with this color palette, because I'd be lying. My mom is the one who came up with this color palette, I believe with my grandma, my dad's mom, many years ago. And so we've had that same color palette that we've really stuck with, but it works for us. And so I don't really have to, I guess, you know, guess so much, because over the years I have just learned what colors go with which. So if I'm doing reindeer brown as a base, I know I'm going to end up shading with shading brown, and I know I'm going to end up outlining with shading red. That's just something that has come with a lot of years of experience as well. So I think that it really comes from, number one, picking a great color palette, colors that are going to complement each other. And then number two, staying in the same color family and making sure that each color is a good variation for the next color, if that makes sense. I don't feel like I'm the best explainer. I feel like Victoria explains things beautifully. My mom, Mary, explains things beautifully. I don't feel like I have that same knowledge and explanation that they do. But I hope that that makes sense. So let's see, Carla says, do you base coat the whole thing in white? Carla, great question. In fact, most of the time I do base coat everything in white. In this case, I did not. I actually base coated it in reindeer brown. So I really have three different colors that four different colors that I'm gonna base coat. One is gonna be white, pure white. One is gonna be shading orange, which is gonna be more pumpkins. One is reindeer brown, which is for turkeys, reindeers, wooden looking signs, that sort of thing. And then the other one is red. Red for Santa Clauses, any kind of Christmas bulbs or whatever, anything that's primarily red. So I have white, I have reindeer brown, I have light orange, and I have red. Those are my four primary prime colors. Excuse me. I'm starting to get confused between prime and base and all that sort of stuff. So those four colors are going to be the colors that I'm going to use most of. And so I actually roller everything, and I actually have rollers in Ziploc bags that are kind of ready to go. And so all of those colors I have on rollers, and I roller my pieces based on what is the primary color that I'm using. So Victoria says, you explain how to do the painting very well. Don't sell yourself short. You're so sweet, Victoria. I love you. I really love you. I feel like you guys have a better vocabulary, I guess, for explaining things. I don't always feel like, I'm one of those people that I struggle sometimes in a conversation. I'm saying, what's that word that I'm trying to think of? Man, what's that word? What's that word? What's that word? And I really, honestly can't recall what it is that I'm trying to say. And so whenever I am trying to explain stuff, sometimes for me it's a little bit more difficult because I genuinely cannot recall the word of certain things. So that is my shading red outline. So I went ahead and obviously did all the reindeer brown with shading red outline, as well as the nutmeg. Any brown tones or flesh tones, if I was doing like a Santa Claus and it was a flesh tone, I would still do the same thing. I would outline in shading red. So now that I'm done outlining and shading red, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to black. Now, y'all know I've showed y'all I feel like a lot of you guys know, but I feel like we also need to acknowledge the fact that there's always going to be new people watching that don't know. So I am using a Royal Gold number 4 script liner. You guys also notice my script liner is bent. It's not supposed to be that way. Oh, I do have a brand new one. Let me show you the difference. Here's what my brush looked like brand new. And here's what my older brush looks like. This, which is what I use, it's not supposed to be what your brush looks like. However, I use this brush honestly 3 to 4 hours a day, every day, out in the heat. And I use it for probably 6 months out of the year until I have to throw it away. So yes, mine is bent because I use it all day long, painting pieces that I do paint to sell. And so I understand that my brush looks a lot different than what it's supposed to. This is personally how I like my brush. Not how it's supposed to look, not how I've ever seen anybody else use their brushes, but this is just my brush. So if you guys are seeing my brush and it's all, you know, tilted and awkward and cockeyed, yes, it's mine. I get it. It's not the way it's supposed to look. So I do that honestly because I find it simpler to have my brush lay down into my lines and to really give me that look I'm going for. And so I paint every day, right? So I teach you guys on lives how to paint, but I also paint my own stuff that I sell. And so my brush gets used, I would say this same brush, probably 3 to 4 hours a day, every day in 90-degree heat. And so you guys are gonna see my brush looking at a lot different than you would see your brush looking like because of the amount of wear and tear that my brush sees. I literally will paint hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces with this same exact brush. And so that kind of curve that it has to it, that lay down that it has to it, that comes from a lot of time from, you know, kind of training it in that direction. But it's not supposed to look that way. Now, I like the way that it lays down, and I train it specifically to lay down that way, but it's not the right way. So I don't want you guys being confused and thinking my brush should look like that, because it really shouldn't. So I guess it's one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of things. So all I did is took a little bit of black and outlined. So far, I need to go ahead and outline my little hat, or helmet, I guess you could call it. It's not a hat. Outline my helmet in a little bit of black. And then I'm gonna turn it around and outline the feet. Now this piece, my CNC went a little deeper than I typically like. So you're gonna see me kind of come over top of those lines multiple times. And typically I wouldn't do that, but the etching was just a little bit deeper than what I personally cared for. So let's see. Yeah, Carla said, thank you. Thank you so much, Carla. You're so sweet. I love you guys being engaged and kind of commenting and asking questions, all that good stuff. So this week has been my daughter's first week back to school. And so she started middle school this year. And apparently, or I just found out this week, that middle school rides the same bus that junior high rides. And so I was talking with my husband, and neither one of us really felt comfortable with our 10-year-old daughter riding the same bus that, you know, teenage boys in junior high ride. And so we decided that she's just going to go ahead and be a car rider the next couple of years, you know, because we just didn't feel comfortable. There's something about having a little kid or I feel like she's still little, she's 10. But having a young child and wanting to, I'm not saying wanting, I don't know if that's the right word, but my daughter's still very naive, and I'm okay with keeping her very naive, you know? And so I've been taking her and picking her up every day because I just was not comfortable with her riding the bus with junior high kids. She's in 5th grade and she's still so young. And I just don't feel like that I don't feel like she's on the same age level as junior high kids. So my kind of daily schedule has changed quite a bit to make up for that time difference. All right, y'all. So I have done my shading red on my brown hues, and now I have done my black on everything else. So basically, if it is in the brown family, if it's reindeer brown, shading brown, nutmeg, camel, anything like that, I shade it in shading red. Now every other color, meaning my brilliant blue, my yellow, my Christmas green, I went ahead and outlined that in black. So my outline as far as my piece is done. The only thing I have left is quote unquote highlights, except all of the numbers and arrows and the kind of the football plays that are going on along here are going to be done in white. So let me clean out my script liner, and let me grab the blow dryer and let's blow dry this a little bit and get it ready so that when we put the white on top, I'm not mixing colors. Hey Lauren, how are you, honey? I totally meant to call you back earlier and it didn't happen. I'm so sorry. Now, y'all, typically you don't need to worry about blow drying your piece. The only time I ever pull a blow dryer out is when I'm on a live or I'm doing a recording of a video. Other than that, I let the sun dry my piece, or I let the natural air dry my piece. I do not force dry anything when I'm working on my own. I don't do that because I feel like let nature run its course and let the sun dry it on its own. And I don't force feed anything. So, in fact, when I'm waiting on stuff to dry, what I do is I grab my next piece and I start priming that. Or I go back to the pieces I just finished and I poly them. So there's always something to be done in between your drying process when it comes to yard art. If you're somebody that's doing a lot of projects at once, you can always find something else to do. So, all right, now we are going to move on to our regular white that we're going to use as our highlights. And you guys know I've always told y'all we're never finished with the piece until we have our highlights on it. But when it comes to this piece, we definitely have to have highlights, but obviously we also have to fill in the football plays and numbers. So I need to add a little bit of white. And then I definitely have to add some water because my brush is older and my brush is broken in. It's obviously very broken in. You guys have seen it. So I need more water in order to get the look that I'm going for. If my brush was newer and not broken in, I would need a lot less water. So the amount of water really depends on the brush that you're using, how new or how old it is, how soft the bristles are, and then it honestly becomes one of those things that it is whatever feels better to you. So I put enough water in there based on how I feel that I want my strokes to kind of lay down. There's not a right or wrong on that. It's more of a personal preference. So I kind of take the white as my highlights and I put it around the perimeter or around any blank spots where there's nothing else. So there's a little bit that you see so far. All right, now I'm gonna start coming in here. Let me go ahead and turn this around right quick, y'all. Come in here. I'm gonna add a little bit onto my shoes, and then I'll start filling in. There we go. Filling in these numbers and arrows for the football plays, I guess you would call it. I'm not a big sports fan, so I can't really pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna assume that these are more of a football play, you know, kind of mapping out and gearing out where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do. So when it comes to something like this, I already have those lines etched and they're on my CNC. And so I kind of lay my brush down inside of those lines, and I just kind of set the brush down inside of there and follow along with the lines. I don't make it too difficult. In fact, these lines are supposed to be so much easier for you. So I'm just kind of following along. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I keep them in the light as I'm sitting here and spilling paint. It's all right. I'm always making a mess. I feel like, what else is new? I literally live in paint clothes, y'all. I go to the grocery store in paint clothes. I go to the school in paint clothes. I live in my paint clothes. And really that's because I obviously paint for a living, but because I can't seem to do my daily job without making a big mess on myself. So over the years, I've just found it easier to just live in these clothes and rock it out and make the best of it. And it used to embarrass me years ago, but the older I got, the least, you know, I'm more proud of these clothes than I am embarrassed at this age. But you could see why I wear these 24/7, because I'm always making such a big mess on myself. I wish I was one of those artists that stayed a lot cleaner. Like Victoria and my mom, when they paint, they both stay clean. Me, not so much. I'm very much opposite of that. Are you guys clean painters, or do y'all find yourself getting dirty and having to have like a certain set of maybe some paint clothes? Because the older I get, I find that I have more paint clothes than I do normal clothes. So, hey Connie, hey Joyce. Joyce says it's so cute. Thank you, Joyce. You're so sweet. I'm kind of just filling in at this moment the little football plays that are on here with a little bit of white. I think that's where I really like this outside layer being done in black, is because once you come in here with your plays on here, your little kind of football playbook, it looks really, really good. So, like I said, I'm kind of putting my brush down in those lines and following those lines through. I don't really so much worry about maybe going outside of the lines or being too far on the inside of lines. I don't worry about it. I kind of just come over top of them and I make the best of it. If I don't like it, I don't like it, and I just move on. Many years ago, I would have sat here and tried to perfect everything and, you know, change what I was doing 10 times over. The older I've gotten, the more I'm like, not so much. throw your paint on there and move on and let it go. Kind of like Elsa. Just gotta let it go. We are almost done. This script liner is a brush that obviously you guys always see me use whenever I outline. But I do have to say that this is probably my favorite brush to use. I do like base coating because it's easy. But once you get a script liner broken in the way you like it, which my bent script liner is the way I like it, it's like a different brush. It can just bring you so much more than you maybe originally anticipated. And so, in fact, earlier I was using this brush to do a little bit of base coating in some smaller areas. In fact, I did the yellow base coat with my script liner because it's just small, simple, easy, little, can kind of get in those spaces. So I definitely enjoy my broken in brushes. I really hope I don't have a lot of comments or questions at the moment. Anytime I'm doing a lot of script liner work, I do have to focus a little more. Really pay attention to what I'm doing, just to make sure that I'm, you know, following along with where I should be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so it's easy to get off on a tangent, but it's also easy to not pay attention to live questions. So let's see. Ta-da! There we go. Trying to see if I missed anything. I think the only thing I missed is maybe a little dot. A little dot on the eyes. Ba-ba! There you go, y'all. This turkey has a lot of colors on it, so if that's something that might be intimidating to you, I understand, but it's okay. Take it one step at a time. And a lot of the work is going to actually be done with your script liner because the letters, or not the letters, excuse me, the numbers and the little arrows and circles and X's, those take a little longer to do than the actual outline of your piece. So when it comes to my piece, I'm actually already finished. So I've got my base coat. I did 2 coats of reindeer brown. And then I came in with nutmeg on my football, white on the football stripes in my eyes. I did light orange on the nose, red number 20 on right here, and then in between our little sock layers. Light yellow, a brilliant blue on the shoes and the helmet. Christmas green on the inside feather, and then black on the outside feather. And all of this was highlighted. The brown hues were outlined in shading red. Everything else outlined in black. And then obviously we came in with some white and filled in all of our highlights and our numbers. So I hope you guys like that. Let's see. I feel like I've been chit-chatting so much I haven't really checked comments. So let's see. Connie says, I walk by your mom's pieces and get paint on my shirt. Hun, you see my clothes. There's a reason I stay in these clothes, because I'm always getting covered in paint. And even Zach and Carly, they're not out here very often, but it's like they walk out here and they happen to walk by something really wet and then their clothes get covered in paint. So for me, I just stay in paint clothes. It's easier. So Joyce says, me either paint all over me. I have an apron to wear so that I don't ruin too many clothes. Joyce, great idea. If I only painted part-time, I would totally wear an apron, but since I paint full-time, I'm like, I got paint clothes, you know. So, let's see. Juanella says, do you sell printable templates? Great question. No, we actually don't. Right now, we don't. I can't say that we won't in the future. This template I actually got off of Etsy. I want to say it was door badges or maybe chasing Rue. I can't recall, but I'm happy if you'd like to know exactly where I got it, I'm happy to find that Etsy listing and I can always send that to you. So Sandy says cute, Carla loves it, Debbie says looks good. Hey Chelsea, how are you? Teresa says cute football turkey. Thank you guys so much. So this pattern does require, it does require a little bit more script liner work. So, you know, if script liner is something maybe a little bit more difficult for you, this pattern might be one of those that you're gonna have to take a couple of breathers from, you know, take a little break and come back to it because it's a lot of script liner work, but I think the end result is perfect and it's so, so cute. So Dolores says, hey, Ashley, I love the turkey. Thank you, Dolores. Missy says adorable. Mary says he looks great. Thank y'all so much. I think he's adorable. I love the way he turned out. So let's see. That's all that we had for tonight. But let's see, this Sunday we have the Ride or Die Witch Trio with Victoria. And then Monday, Mary is going to be live in Tamara Bennett's Painters Club. And then on Tuesday, Mary is going to be doing, I don't know if it's the cat or the scarecrow, because the schedule that I have in front of me I know has changed. But I'll be back next Thursday doing the triple stack pumpkins. Trying to get it to show y'all. So I'll be back on Thursday doing this guy. And let's see, just as good, Michelle. Love this. It looks a little challenging. You know, there's definitely patterns that are a little more challenging. This one might be that for some of those that find it to be difficult using a script liner. But this one is going to be a little bit easier because we're going to use baby wipes and on our plaid and our stripes, and then our polka dots, obviously we're going to use sponge daubers. So on this pattern, we're actually only going to do a little shading and outlining after we do our whimsical pumpkins. So you guys can catch me next Thursday on this piece. And until then, I hope you guys will tune in to Victoria on Sunday and Mary on Tuesday, and then I will be back next Thursday. So Mary says, on Wednesday, I'll do the scarecrow. Perfect. Thank you so much. And Joy says, got my baby wipes. Woohoo, ready. There you go. In fact, I'm already running out. I told myself earlier I need to get on Amazon and get me some more baby wipes. So there is the look at our football turkey. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I will see y'all soon. And as always, if you have any questions that maybe I missed, make sure you submit them in the comment section and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. Y'all have a great Thursday evening. We'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.